In many rural parts of America, mornings once began with the sound of roosters crowing and wild turkeys calmly feeding in the fields. Quiet farmland, washed in early sunlight, carried a sense of peace that farmers had lived with their entire lives. But in recent years, that peace has started to disappear. At first, the signs were small: freshly rooted soil, broken fences, vegetable gardens destroyed overnight. Then, the turkeys began to vanish, without a trace. And finally, people saw them. The feral hogs. Not just a few scattered animals, entire sounders, dozens strong, moving with purpose. Smart, aggressive, fearless of humans. They tear through crops, spread disease, attack livestock, and in some cases, threaten the safety of families themselves. For many farmers, this is no longer just an environmental issue. This is a fight to protect their land, their families, and their communities. Feral hogs are incredibly intelligent. Set one trap the wrong way, and the entire sounder will avoid that area for weeks. That's why rushed decisions lead to failure. Farmers begin by studying the hogs. When do they feed? Does the lead hog move first or last? Which trails do they use every night? Only then do the traps go in. These aren't simple snares meant to catch a pig or two. They're designed to drop only when the entire sounder is inside. So the group isn't spooked, and the problem isn't made worse. There are moments that take your breath away. 2 massive traps drop at the same time. 45 feral hogs captured in a single operation. In another location, 27 hogs caught with one clean drop, including the alpha hog, the one that had led repeated invasions for months. But it doesn't always go perfectly. Some nights, the sounder gets close, then turns away. Sometimes, the trap drops a few seconds too early, just seconds short of success. These moments teach farmers one hard truth: patience is the key to beating wild animals. Many people on the outside don't understand this. This is not hunting for entertainment. Once the hogs are trapped, they're handled through regulated wildlife control procedures. Some are processed according to local law. Others become a legal food source, helping feed families and communities, in the spirit of protecting both land and food supply. Transport is one of the most dangerous steps. Feral hogs are strong, aggressive, and easily panicked. One small mistake can injure people or destroy equipment. That's why every movement is slow, deliberate, and guided by experience. Safety comes first, always. And all of this happens while farmers face countless other pressures: harsh weather, unstable crop prices, rising costs. Controlling feral hogs is just one battle in a long list of daily struggles. When the sounders are finally brought under control, the land begins to heal. The turkeys return. Gardens grow undisturbed. Children can safely play in their own yards again. This is a quiet fight. It doesn't make headlines, but it happens every day on thousands of farms across America. Farmers don't see themselves as heroes. They're simply doing what must be done, protecting land they've spent a lifetime working, keeping balance between humans and nature. Sometimes, to preserve peace, people must stand up, not to conquer nature, but to keep it from crossing the line.
They decimate.
Matt, you're good? Good, just keep going. Got him.
We know we got some kinks to work out, figure it out, but little boar. Luke, get him! Grab him! You're too late. You ain't gonna take him down.
They destroy crops, knock down fences, and cause hundreds of millions of dollars in damage every year. What started as a localized issue in the South is now a full-blown problem, with boars spreading to over 35 states across the United States. Their territorial invasion happens so fast that biologists now consider them a serious threat to both ecosystems and human living spaces. And the way American farmers are using technology to tackle this problem might just surprise you. In the United States, wild boars are not viewed as livestock. Instead, they are classified as an invasive species, wreaking havoc on the environment and agriculture. Texas, for example, is often cited as the state most heavily impacted by these animals. According to Texas A&M University, it's estimated that between 2.6 to 3 million wild boars call Texas home. Their natural behavior of rooting for food damages agricultural soil, significantly impacting crops like corn and wheat, while also disrupting irrigation systems and soil integrity. The economic damage caused by wild boars in Texas' agricultural sector totals more than $500 million each year. This is why modern trap systems, capable of controlling entire groups at once, have become the go-to solution for managing this problem.
Oh, yeah.
The first step in this process is establishing a routine. The trapper uses fermented grain with a strong, inviting odor to lure the boars to a specific spot. Providing free food continuously is key to getting them to stay in that area. After 4 nights, a solid cage trap is set up but not yet activated. However, wild boars are incredibly cautious. Their wariness makes the task of baiting them even more difficult. The biggest challenge? The older, wiser male boars. These boars can stand outside for hours, watching their fellow boars feed without stepping foot into the trap. After nearly a month, the right moment arrives. Once the trapper is certain that the entire herd, including the most cautious boars, has gathered in the center to eat, the system is activated. The entire group of wild boars is then isolated within the trap, successfully controlling the entire herd. Successfully trapping an entire herd like this is crucial for American agriculture. This method not only helps control the population, but also significantly limits their reproductive capacity in the area, thereby protecting hundreds of acres of crops from devastation. Besides crop destruction, wild boars carry numerous infectious diseases and parasites that can transfer to livestock, pets, and even humans. Isolating them in a trap like this helps prevent the spread of these diseases to nearby communities and farms. An adult wild boar can weigh over 150 kilograms and run at speeds up to 48 kilometers per hour. With such power and speed, their collision with standard fences can easily break them down. This is why these traps must be made from heavy-duty steel, welded securely, and anchored deep into the ground. Without this level of durability, the boar herd can simply bulldoze through the trap and escape within minutes, bringing even more danger with them. In managing invasive animals, patience and smart strategies always work better than simply hunting. By using technology and understanding the behavior of these animals, we can protect native ecosystems and agriculture in the most effective and humane way possible. The next step follows strict local wildlife conservation laws. The trapped boars are managed according to legal methods and closely monitored. In appropriate cases, the meat, once certified safe, can be used either for family consumption or donated to charitable organizations, turning a dangerous threat into a valuable resource. The success of this trap means hundreds of bird nests and the food sources of native animals are saved. We are stepping in to help restore balance to the ecosystem in the face of this invasive species. Nature's balance is fragile, and it's the timely, scientific intervention of humans that holds the key to maintaining this harmony. In many rural areas, wild hogs didn't start out as a major problem. At first, they were just a minor nuisance. But over time, their numbers exploded, and so did the damage. Fields torn up, crops destroyed, ecosystems thrown off balance, and real safety risks for people. In the United States, feral swine have now been documented in at least 35 states, with agricultural damage and control costs estimated in the billions of dollars every year. So, the question is no longer whether we should control wild hogs. The real question is how to do it effectively and responsibly. Wild hogs are highly social animals. They move in groups, learn fast, and become extremely cautious after bad experiences. When you remove hogs one by one, the rest of the sounder quickly wise up, making future control exponentially harder. That behavior forces managers to shift their thinking. Control the whole group, not individual animals. Brig is a trap system designed around how wild hogs actually behave, feeding together as a group, lowering their guard once they feel comfortable. Instead of triggering too early, the system allows the sounder to enter and exit naturally, managers to observe and estimate group size, and activation only when the entire group is inside. This approach prevents the single biggest cause of failure in hog control, leaving survivors behind. The most important rule in wild hog control is this: don't turn it into a chase. Once you spook the group and send them scattering, you might catch a few, but you lose the chance to solve the problem for good. When hogs believe everything is normal, that's when you can close the door on the entire sounder. Clean, safe, and effective. Trapping with Brig doesn't start with rushing in. It starts with observation and patience. Managers first identify high-traffic areas, places where tracks, routing, and signs show consistent group movement and feeding behavior. The modular net system is then set up with enough space for hogs to feel comfortable entering, without feeling cornered or threatened. Early on, the priority is conditioning and monitoring, allowing hogs to move in and out freely. Only after the group size and movement rhythm are clearly understood does the team choose the right moment to contain the entire sounder in a single activation. This reflects a core principle of wildlife management. Success doesn't come from speed, it comes from precision and timing. The use of monitoring equipment reduces the risk of non-target captures, prevents premature activation, and, most importantly, increases safety for the people doing the work. For many US communities, this is critical. Wild hog control must comply with local regulations, prioritize safety, and minimize unnecessary conflict.
Little guys.
Effective hog control rarely comes from one person working alone. The biggest differences usually come down to three things. Coordinated timing. If each landowner acts independently, hogs simply shift from one property to another. Accurate information sharing. Tracks, time windows, travel routes. The clearer the picture, the stronger the plan. Targeting the whole sounder. Piecemeal removal only makes hogs smarter and damage lasts longer. You don't beat wild hogs with luck. You beat them with a plan.
Mercy.
The wild hog crisis shows one hard truth. Big threats often start quietly. Only when people take the time to observe, understand natural behavior, and act with strategy does real, long-term control become possible. Pig Brig isn't just a trap, it's an approach. Understand the sounder, be patient, move at the right rhythm. Close it out in one clean moment to reduce long-term damage. When communities work together and do it right, crops are protected, safety improves, and balance can be restored. And sometimes, the way we set a trap reflects the way we choose to protect the future. Note: this video focuses on management and safety perspectives. All methods must comply with local regulations and should be carried out by experienced individuals.
I didn't even film none of that either. That's a